All right.
All right.
Welcome back to another episode of the Chill Country Report.
In a world.
I
had that app on my phone.
This is episode 2. It's Monday again.
It's Monday again.
Every week it comes around. Here we are.
Man.
So we've done very little talking this morning to save it for the pod. So I don't know what you guys have been up to at all.
How are you showing up today? How are you coming in today?
What'd you learn this weekend, Justin?
I learned, I haven't really learned. It's like a constant lesson of perspective and gratefulness.
Gratitude.
My AC went out
Okay.
on Friday, and it's getting hot outside.
Mm-hmm. Cracking 90.
But I have a car, and it was top off weather. Perspective. Things are not that bad. You know, I've been battling this thing where I haven't been super thrilled about where I'm at, or I guess where I'm living.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a house.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that bad, and you can just make it better. So it's not really like a learning. It's just like
It's a continuation of the current curriculum.
Yeah. What about you?
I had an awesome weekend out in West Texas, as y'all know, with my oldest, and it was it's so hard to not say those things because I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. But anyway, it was awesome. I got Henry, my 15-year-old, asked if we could go out there because he wanted to see the Milky Way. My parents spend half of their time there, half of their time in Austin. So they have a little place in Marathon, Texas, which is, they call it the gateway to Big Bend. It's one of the first little towns that you enter. You guys know, you've been there. And we decided to do that for the second weekend of spring break, which was this past weekend, and it was awesome. We got a lot of West Texas experience packed into a couple days, and some good time with the parents, his grandparents, if you think you've healed all of your trauma, you should spend the weekend with your parents. Not that I thought that I healed all my trauma, but it's a good way to kind of like see what's still fucking festering. So, it was overall awesome with like some periodic little bouts of angsty teenage Madison trying to pop out, which I very successfully fucking kept at bay.
Give us an example.
I don't want to dig too deep into, I would imagine most people have a relationship with their parents where certain things that they do will get under their skin. And so, you spend an entire weekend with your parents, some of those things are going to come out. And so really what it made me realize is, if I tried to do this a year ago, it would have been a disaster, because it used to be that angsty teenage Madison would take the wheel, and what he likes to do is argue. And so there's a lot of things that I might not totally see eye to eye with my parents on, and I would have felt compelled to, jam my perspective. And I really didn't do that at all. There were like, I'd say I give myself like an A- in terms of how I maintained my composure. But the thing is like it's still there. So it definitely caused unnecessary distress for some of the time. So what I would like to do is resolve all of that permanently. At least now I have this perspective on it where I can recognize it coming and I can just like shut down. I can exercise control over my urges to get to like lean into confrontation. And I feel like I did a pretty good job of that. And it was also cool because I got to talk to Henry about it and kind of like explain. And because he could, even though I was like keeping a lid on it, like.
Wait, so you gave Henry like insights into how you were struggling with this?
Yeah.
While it was happening?
Yeah.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. It made me feel better, and I think it also made him make sense of like some of his feelings about some things. And so but what it really did was it made me realize just how far I've come, because it used to be, I mean, there was a period from probably like 2017 to 2020 where I was just all turmoil, no peace. Like there was like no peace in my life. Everything was just chaos and turmoil. And now I'm mostly filled with peace, and I'm at peace most of the time, but there's still a little bit of turmoil. And so that's where like the journey continues to try to resolve this stuff, right? And the place that I'm at now is, back when it's all turmoil, or you're like, is peace even possible? Right? It's like, and now I know that it is, and I've overcome so much that I have that perspective. So even when those feelings creep up and kind of like take over, I have the perspective, one, to keep them at bay and not throw the poison at other people as often as I once did. And two, I know that it's something that I can actually overcome through these various therapeutic modalities that I've used to get to this place. So just knowing that then gets me back to a place of peace, which is just an awesome place to be. And I'm super grateful that I've gotten to this point. I'm super grateful that I had parents that set me up such that I could get to this point. And I'm super grateful for the relationships that I have with my kids and with Kim and like the family we're building. So, it wasn't a completely 100% blissful all of the entire weekend, but it was mostly awesome and blissful with some periodic little anxiety daggers that I was then able to take and kind of meditate on to get to those conclusions, which is great.
Just don't let the U.S. government know you're filled with oil.
Turmoil.
That's...
You're gonna be a great dad, Justin. That's
Thank you.
Dad joke.
Thank you. Yeah, I heard you were filled with turmoil, and
that's what came up.
Yeah. Stop. Anyway.
And so the highlight of the trip was, Henry and I went out into the park, which is an hour and a half from Marathon, and we woke up super early. So halfway there, you get to the Welcome to Big Ben sign, and it's in the middle of nowhere. So there are no lights at all around. And you know this from when we did the exact same hike that you and I did a couple years ago.
One where I was going 80 through the fog and you guys were...
Yeah, there was no fog though. So like we got out of the car and just Milky Way. It was so crazy. And then I had a tripod and the Sony cam, so set the long exposure and then stayed really still and got a really sick photo that you guys saw. Which is cool because that photo just completely like memorializes what that trip was about, because he was literally like, I want to see the Milky Way. There it is. Now we got a fucking picture with the Milky Way. It was so tight.
And then there's like a bunch of other layers wrapped into that picture, like what you were talking about with boulevarding your way through photography. And there's like a bunch of like
I didn't
subtle...
even know how to use a camera 4 years ago. and I didn't know anything about them. I asked Mike, our good friend Mike, who's a wizard with all sorts of things like that. I was like, hey, what camera should I buy? Bought exactly what he told me. And then I was like, hey, how do I use it? He told me how to use it. And then I've just been fucking with it for 4 years and never once looked up like astral photography. But I understand now like how the exposure and like all the settings work well enough because I've just tinkered with it for 4 years that I was able to pretty quickly like set it up and get it to settings that would capture us and the stars at the same time. So yeah, proud of that one. Yeah, overall awesome trip. We got back Saturday evening, so we had all day Sunday to kind of chill before it's the end of spring break. So now it's the home stretch before summer for the children. But very awesome weekend, lots of learnings, lots of laughs, lots of joy. What'd you learn?
Anxiety, it hits different, to use a cooler way to say it. Anxiety hits different when you have the perspective of being able to like zoom out and see it happening.
Yes. You could almost say that it hurts worse. It's like it stings, but then you can get to a place of perspective, like you can get to the right perspective so much quicker once you kind of realize why it's there in the first place, right? And that it's not some nebulous thing that just hits you because your brain chemicals are out of whack, right? As lots of people prefer.
Or if you're even further behind that, not behind, but like even if you're like even earlier on it, it's like I spent several decades wondering like why things were happening to me. That's like even before I put together that maybe I had a part to play in the form of bad chemicals, which was like V1 of like maybe I have a part to play.
What is the common denominator here?
Everything's fucked for me. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, just in the last like 15 minutes from the conversation I just had in the kitchen to an email I received before I even sat in this chair, my cookies would have been tossed for the whole day not too long ago. And I was like, all right, I see what's happening here. I understand this is information. Clearly I want to react to it or like relate to it. I get to choose how I want to react to it and what relationship I want to have to the information I've just been given over the last like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And in the past, I would have chosen what I would consider to be a much more painful response and like relationship. And I'm sitting here with mostly a lot of peace and then gratitude that I didn't fucking take the bait.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's not whatever just happened, it's going to be some other thing that happens. And it's just, okay.
Yep.
Is it something that you could share?
It was basically... is it something I can share?
No's a perfectly fine answer.
Well, it's just, it's like stuff that's maybe not... Basically, we're just having some confusion with our third-party lab and with the actives that we're using. And there's been some more turmoil in terms of results we've gotten that are making something that I thought had been put to bed, like maybe is actually a bigger problem. And now I'm just like, well, I don't know what we do with that. So, yeah.
Well, good thing you are fully equipped to solve these types of problems.
Yeah, very equipped. So we'll solve them. So it was that, and then some just random payroll stuff, which there's not really an issue with it. It's just that it's one of my favorite things to latch onto and get all fucking shitty about. So yeah, that was all it was.
Well, what'd you do this weekend?
Friday was very interesting.
I heard Thursday was interesting.
Was Thursday interesting? Oh, Thursday was tough.
I was out
Gave him a
Thursday.
little snippet.
Oh God, Thursday was fucking tough, dude. So there's this scene in Ace Ventura where he is going up against I don't remember the name of the tribe, the Watauga tribe or something. And the guy starts hitting him with blow darts. And I was telling Justin that, like, in the morning, I got like a couple darts and I was like, all right, that's fine. I mean, it stings a little bit. It's a little combo vibes. And then I just kept getting darted. And at one point it was just, he says it perfectly. He goes, that's too many darts. And then he just keels over. That was basically Thursday for me. But I also, like, to your point of what you just said, I knew that I was getting darted at the same time that I was getting darted, which is, I appreciate being in that place much more than, like, why is everything happening to me?
Right.
And but yeah, so Thursday was tough, and was able to be just straight with Justin. I was like, I'm cooked. It was like 4:15, and I was like, I can't do anything. I have to leave. This is not gonna work today.
Which is great, and you should do that because it's the instinct I feel like is typically like to just
Brute
latch
force.
yourself to the computer chair and just sit there and just find things to do to feel productive when the best thing you could actually do is like walk away.
Yeah.
And
Which is, it's something that's like, I have old programming from the door-to-door life, which is like, you're going to hear like 50 people tell you to get off their property a day. You have to keep going if you want to make that particular role work with that type of job. And
Right.
so I have this old programming, which is like brute force through everything, contact sport, just keep going.
which is a helpful mentality sometimes.
Right. It's context.
Yeah.
So then Friday, Justin is like, hey, my air conditioner's shot. I'm going to work from home. And I was like, all right. So I drive to the office, and Dylan was out because we're like switching over our packaging for the new DSHS stuff. So the kitchen was empty. It was just Nick there. And I just, I'm learning to trust my intuition. So I walked in the building and I was like, I don't think we're supposed to be here today. So I was like, Nick, you go home. I'm going home. So I went home. And then the second thing I did was like, again, brute force. Normally what I would do is just like, I'm going to get to my desk at my house and I'm going to just crush it today. Because I always have this like old programming, which is just like, you need to work. You need to constantly be producing, or else you have no value and everything will crumble. And then I was like, well, that feels like really loud today. So I'm going to try a different action. And I was like, I'm not going to do that today. I am going to landscape. I'm just going to do landscaping today.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, kind of like when you follow the breadcrumbs correctly, like stuff just starts dialing in a way that's like hard to ignore. And so there was some like really cool stuff that happened in terms of, one, I just felt amazing because I was just like out in my yard appreciating this house that I have mostly just resented for years, and just like feeling extremely grateful for it, which is very healing in and of itself. But then an old coworker, I guess not coworker, but someone I had worked with on this house in the past said they wanted to swing by to see the project, or that they were just swinging by to go look at the project. I was like, well, I'm here right now, actually. Why don't I just meet you? And I haven't been home on a Friday in probably like 2 years. We ended up sitting down and talking for like an hour and a half. And this person like essentially told me that they've actually been sober for almost a year, and that they like are kind of trying to figure out if they want to keep working the steps, and they need a sponsor to do their fifth step with. And like, I haven't been home in 2 years on a Friday, and he just swang by.
That is interesting.
What the fuck? And so that was like, oh, well, that's amazing. And then the weekend just kind of continued. I spent a lot of time hanging out with my daughter, and we didn't do anything crazy, but we just had a great time. We played in the yard. We did a lot of landscaping together, and just perfect weekend.
Very nice. How's that yard looking? You're doing a lot of landscaping lately.
I am going to crush this yard. It's going to look so awesome.
It's so good because that is like you're an outside dog.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be outside.
Yeah.
And so like your outside should be an oasis that you can just hang out in.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I have a complete vision of exactly how it's going to go. And so now I'm just on execution mode.
Fuck yes.
Really tight. Really tight.
That's very nice. Yeah. So one other thing. So I got back Saturday evening. Sunday, I was doing some more content stuff with like the podcast and whatnot, and that is another situation that makes me anxious. You know, I used to, when I was younger, care so much about what other people thought of me. It was like actually all I cared about. And that was a driving factor for a lot of my decision making. And I'm at a place now where I will oftentimes think like, I don't care what people think. I don't care. I just do what I'm compelled to do. I don't care what people think of me. That's not entirely true, because anytime I have to edit and post content that features myself, it's quite the ceremony. Quite the ceremony. And we haven't done this is the first podcast, or the one that I was editing. It was the first podcast we've done in 4 months. And so it's like, yeah. It's just, it ignites some voice in my head that is like, it's the extreme critic. Like, who the fuck cares about what you have to say is the voice. Mm-hmm. Like, what is this? Why do you...
Mine is slightly different. Mine is like, have fun espousing all this shit you learned and then cratering tomorrow.
Mine's just like, who the fuck are you to say anything to anybody about anything? And...
Well, I've been listening to this Michael Singer guy for a while, and one of the things he talks about is the mind is going to keep coming up with like logical stuff, whether it's like worrying about stuff or getting excited about stuff or whatever. But that all the problems that the mind is like trying to solve or protect you from or whatever are actually like problems in your heart, and that it's actually all just fear.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like fear. It looks like very logical reasons why you should be concerned about X, Y, or Z. Well, I won't have a salary, or I won't have a wife anymore, or my family or my house will be. I'm going to lose money. But none of those are actually the problem. The problem is that like I'm afraid I'm not going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the content thing is, I mean, that was the core of my first business that ended in tragedy. So just the idea of posting podcast clips of myself, or really like anything personal, is probably triggering some shit from that. But generally just this desperation for people to like me, that I've had since I was a kid, which again, I've gotten to a point even yesterday when I was getting these little shots of anxiety about it and kind of ruminating. I can still see things from that observer mind that helps me. It adds a little bit of a blanket to it, to where it's not as deep a spiral as maybe it once would be. And I'm aware that painful dagger of anxiety is actually instructing. And almost, I had this thought yesterday. I was like, well, this is good because it's essentially exposure therapy. And it's probably something I should just lean into and realize that there's actually nothing to be concerned about. And the other thing too is like it's working. It's working for like on
Like from a business
perspective. Like the more content we publish, the more exposure we get for everything we're doing, and the better everything we're doing does. Right. So it's objectively working for our business use case, which means that it's like a deeper personal issue that I would have any concern. And also I'm fully aware that if we put out personal stuff on the internet with our opinions and perspectives, there's going to be people that disagree and are vocal about it. And we're not even getting any of that yet. But it's almost like I'm preparing for.
Because it's like, okay, well, if people don't like me, then what?
Yeah.
Then I'm not okay.
Which when I'm thinking about it from the right perspective, it's like, well, that's clearly not the point of why we're doing any of this, right? So yeah, it's just all perspective, and I'm excited to keep leaning into it. Figure out how to get rid of the daggers.
Yeah. It seems like wherever the most discomfort is like generally the most opportunity for growth.
I just don't think anyone's thinking that hard about it.
Everyone's
thinking about themselves, and any like negative thing they see on the screen, they're like, it's just a mirror. It's not what we're doing.
That is 100% the case, which is something I can view everything from most of the time. But then, for whatever reason, sometimes
it's just too many darts.
Sometimes it's just too many fucking darts.
Yeah. It just fucking gets you.
I was like getting darted across the board. There was a lot going on yesterday, but I mean, considering maintained pretty solid composure, did some yard work myself. Fucking leaves are relentless. They just never go away. Bagged up some leaves, gave the whole lawn a fresh mow.
Ooh. I have to pee really bad.
Already?
I know.
Well, go ahead.
What I'm realizing is I do like a protein shake in the morning,
and
it's got like 8 ice cubes, and then I also add like maybe 10 fluid ounces of water before I put all the stuff in there, and then it fills up a whole Yeti. And I've never considered, because I always just thought of it as food, but I'm realizing it's mostly water.
Well, you know, coffee is a diuretic.
And then there's the coffee thing,
which is mostly water.
Which is pretty much water.
Plus an extra compound that makes you have to piss.
Dude, did this happen on episode 1 as well? I think you like...
Yeah, we had a pee break.
I've literally considered, because I'm like trying not to add medications to I'm trying to like take away. But I strongly would love a anti-diuretic. Which I know I should just stop drinking caffeine. I understand.
No, you shouldn't do that.
But I'm not going to do that.
That's insane.
You could just wear a diaper.
Yeah, just
Works
get a catheter.
Birdie, can work for me. She seems happy.
We'll go pee.
I'll see you guys in.
We'll pause.
35 seconds.
I'm over caffeinated.
Are you?
I was looking at you, Chris, and my eyelid will not stop twitching.
How many cups have you had?
4.
Whoa, yeah, that's too much.
Over the course of like 3 hours.
Yeah, that's too much. That is too much. I had 2 cups super early, and this is my 3rd, which is like, I'm just like right on the edge. I feel fine, but if I had one more, I'd be where you're at.
Do I look tan?
A little bit.
It's
Yeah,
kind of
I
hard.
see a little color. Yeah, we're under some bright lights. You were doing yard work too?
I went to the lake again.
Oh, you went to the lake.
Yeah. Abby's working all weekend. I'm home alone. I'm like, dude, just 2.5 hours away.
Yeah, that's an easy drive.
And well, I took the top off, but just got beat to shit the whole drive. But another lesson of gratefulness, dude. I can just go to this Shangri-La.
Yeah.
Anytime I need to recharge.
Yeah, it's like you lived there for what, 6 months?
Yeah.
And that was an amazing reset, but you can go back to the temple.
Dude, it's like a fast charger.
Did you fish?
Yeah, I fished. I did not catch. So the cove that we're on is like, when it's full, it's like 6 foot deep. and fluctuates.
You went fishing?
Yeah, I went fishing. I did not go catching. And I knew that I wasn't going to catch a fish, but I fished all day in the sun, just baked. The water was like a foot deep where I was fishing, so I just knew I wasn't going to catch anything. But I sat there and stared at a bobber in the water for about 10 hours.
How many rogues?
Probably only like 3.
Damn.
Yeah, you're able to like. I never understood this. Like, you're able to just not have one in. They're like right there by the desk, and you just don't have one. I have one in right now, and as soon as this one's tapped, which it's pretty close, I'll put another one in. I don't know how you can just like know that they're there and not.
I don't know. And when I have them in, I have it in for like 3 hours.
Yeah, this one's been in for about an hour.
The effects have been long gone, but it's just like having something there.
Yeah, it's very comforting.
But then I take it out, and I'm like, fuck, that was in my mouth for 3 hours. I don't want to put another one in. That's how my mind works.
I mean, I have that thought. I'm like, well, the gum is going to recede, and the tooth is going to fall out, and then I'm going to have to get a veneer.
Don't care.
What?
I said, don't care.
Don't care. Don't care right now. But I also know for the dieta, I'm probably going to have to call that one. I want to talk about a business thing that I am still perplexed by and get more perplexed by the more I like dive into it. It's this idea of account management versus prospecting. So I was talking to Megan on Friday about how we are, we've got a ton of stores, great stores that carry our stuff. And the theory that I've been like working with and that you and I have kind of developed from going around door to door ourselves is that most of these stores don't maybe have us in the best spot, like on the shelf, or a lot of the people that work at the store aren't familiar with the product because they have so many employees. It's impossible for them to do ongoing education. Several of the bud tenders maybe haven't tried the product, so they can't necessarily recommend it. And the theory is that if you had the right placement and all the bud tenders knew about the product, and if they had done a sampling program with all of their maybe best customers or just regular customers, the sell-through in each account would be drastically higher. Because our experience is, like, if you look at the reviews, like, I'm comfortable saying if it's not the best gummy like in this space, it's one of. And so like if more people that try it, I think the sell-through would go up.
Yeah, and there's 2 ways to drive sales. Get new accounts or drive more sales through existing accounts.
And the math is that like if you are just in the store, some percent of people are going to try your product and start being a customer of it. But I don't think that number is like super high. I think that's like a very inefficient way to get in front of people. So, but the problem with the way these stores are set up is when Megan or myself, when we go into one of these stores, let's say the product isn't in the right spot. Well, the person there doesn't necessarily have the authority to move it.
Right.
Or let's say they're stocked out and they need a replenishment. The person there usually doesn't have the authority to buy more. Or like just the general unwieldiness of like trying to get thousands of people that work at these stores, because there's aggregated, it's probably 1,000 people, to all like know about the product, be able to speak to it, have tried it, and hand it out to customers.
I think it's how you eat the elephant, right? And isn't part of the strategy of account management going into these places to information extract, right? Like we went into that one smoke shop off South Lamar. They have our gummies way overpriced.
Yeah.
We find out that it's because the owner wants a certain margin. And with that information, we can then get to the owner, offer them better pricing. Now they can price our gummies competitively and accomplish the goal that they want to accomplish. And because it was like a multi-location retailer, and we have special pricing for retailers that are capable of moving higher volume of product. So, that was an insight that we got from someone who didn't have the authority to do anything, but he gave us the information, right?
Yep. It is turning out that the owners or the decision makers are, for whatever maybe it's this way in all industries, but in this one, a lot of them are very difficult to get a hold of, like frequently enough to maintain and nurture.
Right.
As opposed to like, we can get in there, get on the shelf, but being able to like make sure all these other variables are being accomplished, pricing it correctly, placing it correctly, sampling strategy, that's proving like very difficult. And it's not impossible, but it's just like, man, and that's just one store.
Well, it's such a large market. There's so many stores, so many different types of stores. Where my head goes is like, okay, well, some of these stores are going to be super difficult to work with. Some are going to be so difficult to work with that we just need to move on to the next one. And the idea of focusing our efforts on fewer things, it's like, who are the absolute best stores that actually want to work with us, that might want one of these TV displays that we're working on, and like
that makes sense. That's what I'm missing, is that I'm like, well, we need to optimize all of the stores, right? And that's overwhelming. But it's we need to optimize the ones.
We need to like, what's the rule of thumb? 10-20% of whatever generates all the 10 to 20% of stores that we actually can nurture the relationship with, that's probably going to be the lion's share of our revenue, right?
Yeah.
And in an ideal world, we would have the resources to have somebody doing account management, somebody doing prospecting. But I think that where we're at, learning, like, it's not going to be easy, right? And that's good.
Probably
because
good.
The more difficult it is, the more there is to learn.
And
right?
The less people are willing to do it.
Yeah. So we're not looking for what is the easiest way to drive more sales, because that would probably be to go prospect new accounts.
Yeah,
there's
that's good perspective.
There's so many prospective accounts.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing a demo today at Wheatsville at the Guad location, which is their smaller one.
You and Megan?
Yeah, Megan and I'm going to take the TV with the easel.
Sick.
And bring an extension cord in case the plug's kind of far away.
And
then we have a little black table that she's been using.
Nice.
So once we get the branded one, we'll switch over to that. But
sick.
We're gonna go out in the field today.
What time is that?
It's from 4 to 7. So I want to be at that place around 3:45 just to set up, and just go glean some insights. And I'm gonna be just like taking like a observer, researcher perspective on it, and just like one of the things we're gonna do is we're gonna log a meeting as a demo so that we can like search for those later, and then write down like how many samples we gave out at that demo. And then the important thing is that we'll then be able to like see if a demo was done, when it was done, and then what sales looked like before and after. Because the real question is, does going out into the field and doing all this stuff increase sell-through?
Right.
And we need to prove that if we're going to do all this kind of work. So
yeah.
And for those who don't know what a demo is, what does that look like?
Oh, yeah. So, like, all these people are going to walk through Wheatsville this afternoon, and they're going to see my goofy face and Megan, and we're going to be there with a table, and we're going to have a little TV that's playing the explanation of the microdosable gummies. And a bunch of people that may have never even known these existed will see them. Some people that may have seen the product but never pulled the trigger, or were maybe buying another brand, will get a sample, and we'll just it's kind of like guerrilla field marketing, whatever. But I just think it's really good to the retailers because, they're taking inventory risk for our product. And it's like this idea of energy exchange, reciprocity. It's like when something that clicked for me when you explained that, what Jessica said, was like the just prospecting and then toss in inventory at people. It doesn't feel like it's a fine exchange, but it doesn't quite feel energetically balanced.
We could put more energy into the relationship.
Correct.
And I think as it goes for all relationships, the more positive energy you put into them, the better the relationships are. So long as the other person is willing to reciprocate, right?
Yeah. As long as we're on the same page.
Yeah.
But what you said about how, like, we're going to, not quickly, but we're going to figure out who is interested in investing in relationship
Right.
and who is not. And the people that are not, like, okay.
You know, and I think we're doing exactly the right thing that we should be doing right now, because we just don't know how it's going to play out. Like, you go to Wheatsville, you set this up with the video. Video's pretty tight. We brought it to that trade show. Everyone was attracted to it. Yeah. Maybe the employees, maybe the right employees, like, that's awesome. We want that somewhere in the store. You know, who knows?
Yeah,
like
who
how
knows?
Maybe they don't care, but we'll find that out.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, that video is so powerful. I just want as many people as possible to see
it's
it.
actually making me think, one, I may attend. I need to clear it with
Come
Ken,
on, baby.
because that's till 7, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything obligation tonight. So, but then also, since it's later in the day, maybe I could cut up a new video, because we have a lot of good footage.
Yeah.
That we could just do kind of a super cut.
Yeah. And as we talked about, like, the plot of the supercut would be all the talking points that we would want someone to leave as a brand impression.
Yeah, I kind of got an idea in my head right now. So
Let's go.
yeah,
That's what you're doing today. Besides eating meat with Brad.
yes.
We're going to go meet with a guy who has been on the carnivore diet for probably 9 years now, because he was on it for 8 years last time we met up for it was breakfast. It was lunch. It was breakfast for him. We met at Terry Black's, and he ordered 1.5 pounds of brisket, and that's all he ate. And I was like, well, what the fuck's going on? And he's like, well, I just eat meat. And explain it. And I don't know what his cholesterol is, but he looks great.
He's in very good shape.
He's jacked.
That is not the point of the lunch. That's just a fun fact about Brad.
Brad's hot.
He's hot and he eats meat.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. So the other thing that I would like to do today, so many things I want to do. I don't know if there's enough time. The other thing that I would like to do is I have a cut from the first podcast of us talking about the new dishes hemp regulations. So I would like to write up a little blog post about that. It's timely, considering this is the last week until these new hemp laws go into effect. So just having a quick explanation of what's going on, how it affects us, our thoughts on it, and then we got that video. So that clip from the podcast we can turn into a blog post and an email. Pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
And on that note, we got the Real ID verification stuff.
Yeah, talk to us about, you did the research on it and the demos and shit.
Yeah. Essentially, DSHS is requiring ID verification for everybody who purchases our gummies. There's a solution out there. It's Real ID. I don't know if...
Yeah, dude.
But essentially, you'll be able to buy the gummies. It'll prompt you to take a photo of your driver's license or upload a photo of your driver's license. It does some background check to make sure it's legit, and then we can ship them to you. And it's one time, and after you're verified for life. And but with that, on my end, the back end, we got a script for Nick, troubleshooting for Nick, making
customer service,
customer service stuff, making sure it runs how it's supposed to run, and then that is also an email, because they're gonna have to do it. Might as well make it really easy and give them an opportunity.
And I think
to
our
do
thoughts
it
on
before.
it too are like, you've said this, but as a parent, I think it makes sense.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, it's you shouldn't be able to sell psychoactive substances over the internet without verifying someone's age. That seems like a very reasonable regulation to put in place.
Yeah, I'm
so
stoked on it.
yeah, I just like that despite issues with some of these new regulations, the fact that we're getting regulations is overall awesome for the market because it's going to legitimize what we're doing further, and it's going to make bigger companies more comfortable with the product. It's going to make insurance companies and payment processors, and it's a slow process to go from a loosely regulated industry to getting to a point of reasonable regulations, and it seems like that's where it's going, minus the caveat of what they did to get rid of flour. That's the biggest issue I have with the regulations, which is we talk about and will write about.
Yeah. My back feels great.
Well, that is awesome to hear.
Yeah, it's kind of a non sequitur, but for those that may be suffering with some back pain that are listening to this, it is possible to heal your back. And the thing that's interesting about it is not that you can heal your back, although that is interesting to me. What's interesting is I tried to explain this to Dylan, exactly what I did. And I've spent 2.5, 3 years working on this project. So I feel like I understand it pretty well. But even when I explained step by step what I did, it didn't translate completely.
Right.
And it's not because Dylan isn't hardworking or didn't understand it. What came up for me, I was thinking about this morning, was why didn't that translate correctly? And it's because, it's frustrating, but I think it's because my path had to be uniquely mine to solve my problem. And that is the issue that I had, is I was going to people that were giving me a prescription that they gave to everybody, but it wasn't working for my specific problem. Now, I'm sure if you took a big enough data set, you could figure out he's part of this bucket or whatever. But that doesn't really exist for this problem. And what I realized is the only way I could get to where I'm at is by having intuition and trusting it and following it, which is the only answer I should have given Dylan, which is well, what do you think you should do? Instead of here's exactly what you should do. I don't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't know how to,
Once you dive into the very particulars of exactly what you did, then all of a sudden it starts only making sense for your very unique situation, right?
Right.
But broadly, I think the message is hey, there is a path to a pain-free back.
Yeah.
I don't know what yours looks like, but
Good luck.
It's possible.
Enjoy the next 3 years of torture.
As somebody who previously thought it was not at all possible, and now you're here, it is possible, right? And I have the same feeling about I was talking about, I was completely filled with anxiety and just general turmoil, 100%. And now I'm not. And now I have immense amounts of peace most of the time. So that's possible. I could tell you exactly how I did it, and that maybe is helpful for some people, but it's I don't know. That's why it's
Isn't that
once you
weird?
start recommending stuff, but it's all you can do is talk about how you did it, right? Yeah. So it's I was so jammed up, like a fucking broken engine. And I did ayahuasca, and that was a mechanic that completely disassembled my engine and put all the pieces out on the floor. And then I had to examine each one of those pieces and figure out what needs to be cleaned, what's broken and needs to be fixed. And then I had to figure out how to put the engine back together. Now she's purring pretty good. There's a rattle here and there. Sometimes a squeaking noise. Still trying to figure out where it's from.
And occasionally you blow a head gasket.
Occasionally we just break down on the side of the road. But she's running better than she ever has. And so it's possible to take a broken down, shitty engine, clean it up, and get it at least working again. And for me, it was ayahuasca was the mechanic, because I couldn't have disassembled that thing myself.
Yeah. The other thing that relates to this that I thought of this weekend that was that I'm like really enjoying. I couldn't have built the ADU, so I hired other people to build it. That was a smart decision. I'm not going to do stucco. I don't know how to do stucco for a 2-story house. It's not something you can do. All right, I could do it, but it's like it's not appropriate.
You don't have the time.
The landscaping, however, I was planning on subbing all of that out to other people. And then when I decided that I was going to do it myself because there was a bunch of healing that was going to occur, all of a sudden stuff started to make a lot more sense and got a lot easier. And it's the same with my back, which is like I was letting PTs and like those types of people like tell me what to do. And they would give me like breadcrumbs that were like somewhat helpful. But until I was like, no, I just need to fucking like, I don't know, meditate or whatever. I need to like figure out what do I need to do and like ask the universe or God or what. I need to like ask like, what do I do? But like with the landscaping stuff, it feels so like I reached out to Tanner because I was like, dude, you inspired me. I just want you to know like your actions have reverberated in the universe and now they're affecting me in a great way. And I was telling him about how like there was this one thing that I'm like pretty scared to ask for help with, or that I was like thinking about subbing out, which is leveling the property and like grading it. Because like you can do it with a skid steer, you can do it with a mini skid steer. It's kind of intense. And at first I was like, I'm gonna reach out to somebody and have them do that part. But then I was like, that doesn't feel right. So then I was talking to Tanner because I was like, well, I found this thing called a mini skid steer, which is like a backhoe on a little engine that you just drive.
Huh.
And you can rent them at Home Depot for like $100 a day. And you could level your whole fucking yard. The problem is like if you hit a pipe underground or something, like you fuck the whole thing. But then I was talking to Tanner. He's like, well, I've got this little Kubota thing.
Yep.
Why don't you just use it? And I was like, that looks like too much. That looks really big. I don't feel comfortable driving that around a house I just built. He's like, no, it's really easy. It's like 10 minutes. If I can show you how to do it. So now I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah, dude, that's sick.
I'm just going to drive a Kubota backhoe around my yard and just fucking level it. And it's going to be awesome.
Yes. And nobody is going to do it as well as you'll do it because you care so much. So like once you figure out how to do it and understand how to do it right, like you're going to take the time to make sure it's done the right way.
The way that it works for my vision.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Same with the artificial turf. I want to have like a little artificial turf section because it's awesome for kids. Mm-hmm. I used to think it was really cheesy, but it's actually really tight. I was going to pay someone to install that. And now I'm like, well, use YouTube it. It's actually really easy.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, I'm going to fuck it up. There's going to be issues with it. But like, whatever.
It's going to be wavy. But.
It's going to be wavy. There's going to be fucking weeds coming. But it's like, you can do it. You can fucking do it.
Yeah.
And what's important is I got a little jammed up yesterday for like 5 minutes. And I explained to Jess like, hey, I just got overwhelmed, but I've already identified why. And it was that I got caught up in a vision and a timeline that I got attached to of like when things needed to be done by. And as soon as I like realized that was a trap, all of a sudden I got back to enjoying the process, which was insightful.
The timeline.
The timeline, dude.
Fake bitch.
Just another dart.
Well, this episode's going to be called Too Many Darts.
Too many darts. It's probably lying in a big pile of guano.